Yasmin, turning now to Commitment 2012 news. Stunning new poll numbers are out in the U.S. Senate race between Congresswoman Mazie Hirono and Ed Case, and in the three-way race for Honolulu Mayor. The latest poll comes from our media partner Civil Beat, and joining us live over Skype is political reporter Chad Blair. Good morning, Chad.
Good morning, Mehealani.
So, what are these stunning new numbers between Mazie Hirono and Ed Case?
Well, it's still a tie. I know there's other polls out there that show Mazie Hirono with a lead, but our polls at Civil Beat have been very consistent. We showed them tied in January, we showed them tied in June, and they are still tied today. Ed Case with a slight edge, 47 to 46%. This one is going right down to the wire.
So I talked to both candidates, and they say they're feeling confident going into Saturday. They're feeling the momentum. What's happening in the race here?
Well, a couple of things to look at. Mazie Hirono is doing better on the neighbor islands than Ed Case. Ed Case is actually doing better here on Oahu. Interestingly enough, older voters tend to support Case, younger voters Hirono. Older voters tend to turn out and vote more than younger voters. I think rail is also a factor here. You know, a lot of Republicans and independents are going to be voting. You can actually pick either the Republican or the Democratic ballot. Let's say that you wanted to vote for Ben Cayetano because you're anti-rail. Well, you could, if you wanted, to pick up that Democratic ballot and vote for Ed Case over Mazie Hirono. So that could be a factor as well.
Well, speaking of Ben Cayetano and the mayoral race, what are your latest numbers showing you?
Well, I didn't mean to call the race already, but in fact, Ben Cayetano has a 51% lead right now. That would allow him to avoid a runoff on Saturday. Kirk Caldwell is second with 24%, and Mayor Peter Carlisle with 19%. You know, that race isn't over either. As you know, the governor was in the hospital just recently for a bleeding ulcer. My understanding is that he was released last night, and he's already arguing against his opponents right out of the hospital, just like Ben Cayetano that we all know.
So do you think his health and this condition is going to affect his campaign? And why do you think Peter Carlisle, who enjoyed such huge popularity in the beginning, is now seeing these declining poll numbers?
Well, to your first question, our poll was done before Ben Cayetano entered the hospital, so it's hard to say whether it will be a factor. I suppose there's two camps there. One camp says, we care for Ben, he's a good guy, he's recovered, we're going to vote for him. On the other hand, he is 13 or 14 years older than both Peter Carlisle and Kirk Caldwell, so there could be a concern about age. He's in his early 70s. In terms of Peter Carlisle's slipping, well, you really have to credit Caldwell for being very aggressive. He's really been getting a lot of money. I think those PRP ads that have been anti-Cayetano probably have helped Caldwell more than they have helped Carlisle. The mayor, this will be an unusual situation to have a sitting mayor actually lose re-election. That just doesn't happen very often here in Honolulu.
Yeah, Eileen Anderson comes to mind. That was a very long time ago, right, Chad?
Frank Fossey, right? Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Frank Fossey was in, Eileen Anderson, and then Frank Fossey went back to Honolulu Hale.
Correct.
Hey, Chad, I just wanted to say nice mention of you in Civil Beat in the Honolulu magazine. There's an article about you and other online journalists, so congratulations on getting some press on that, okay?
Well, thank you very much, and thanks for reading Civil Beat, Mejia.
Thank you. And you can find the complete stories that we just discussed on civilbeat.com. It is 6:48. We'll be right back.